Every day, a widget supplier supplies widgets from warehouse to 4 different locations: Ahmednagar, Bikrampur, Chitrachak, and Deccan Park. ABCD. Nice. The daily demand for widgets in each location is uncertain and independent of each other. Nice. Completely different from each other. Demands and corresponding probability values in parentheses are given against each location ABCD in the figure below. Let me look at the figure below. Okay, 40% chance this is 50, 60% chance of 70, 30% chance of 40, 70% chance of 60, 30% chance of 70. Nice. So only 2 possibilities, not multiple. And 2 numbers, 2 probabilities add up to 100. There's no 1 minus this being something else. Rather simple, 2 possibilities only. For example, there's a 40% chance of this and a 60% chance of that. Yeah, we understand that. The lines in the figure connecting the locations and warehouse represent two-way routes connecting these places with distances in kilometers shown beside the line. The distances in both directions along the road are equal. Yeah, so it's not like from Borivali to Kandivali it takes 15 minutes. From Kandivali to Borivali it takes 25 minutes because of one way. So it's not like that. And so, for example, the road from Ahmednagar to Bikrampur and the road from Bikrampur to Ahmednagar are both 6 kilometers long. These are all two-way roads. You can go this way or this way, and the distance is same, 5 kilometers both ways. Nice. Got to be some algorithm rules. Every day the supplier gets the information about the demand values of the 4 locations and creates a travel route that starts from the warehouse and ends at a location after visiting all the locations exactly once. W, A, B, C, D or D, B, C, A. All locations exactly once. While making the route plan, the supplier goes to the locations in decreasing order of demand. Maximum demand, he goes first. If there is a tie for the choice of the next location, the supplier will go to the location closest to the current location. Understandable. I go from A, I have a choice of going to C and B, both are equal. I'll go to the one which is nearer. If the demand is same, demand is my first criteria, then proximity. Also, while creating the route, the supplier can either follow the direct path from one location to another or can take the path via the warehouse. So, from W, I can go to A. From A, I can go directly to B or A, W, B if that is shorter. If both paths are available, direct and via warehouse, the supplier will choose the path with minimum distance. Nice. So, let's look at this. So, from here, I can go to B. I can go to C, I can go to D, I can go to A. I can go from W to A and W to A to B. That's allowed. So all combinations are allowed. I got confused in one part. I wanted to know whether I could go from A. If I want to go from A to B, I can go via 5 and 10. I want to know whether I could go from C to A via B. I don't think that's possible. You can either take the direct route or go via the warehouse. You cannot go via another warehouse. So CBA as a route of going to A is possible, but I have to do only CWA. One warehouse to another, one distributor to another, one location to another. I can either go directly or via the warehouse. I cannot go via another location. And in real life, that's also done. Right? Nice. If the last location visited is Ahmednagar, then what is the total distance covered in the route in kilometers? And so, last distance is Ahmednagar. So 70 and 50. First of all, the numbers wise 70 and 50. This is 170. This is largest. Every chance that you will start with C. Right? And then move to one of the others because that is 40 and 60. 70 and 100 are both greater than 40 and 60. 30 and 50 are both lower than 70 and 100. I have to visit C before B and D, either way. And A could be 70 or 50. You are ending with Ahmednagar. If Ahmednagar were 70 and this were 70, you would start with Ahmednagar. And so, clearly, we are not starting with Ahmednagar, we are ending with Ahmednagar. So, the C value should be higher, either 70 or 100. And straight away I can say, look, I'm only calculating the distance. I want to end with Ahmednagar. So let's assume he goes to C first at 70. He has to take a decision. He could go to B, 60 or 40, or A or D, depending on which is the next number. If this were 70 or 100, it doesn't matter. If I had A could not be 70, because if A were also 70, C were also 70, from arrows you will go to A first. So A is definitely not 70. Right? So C could be 70 or 100. He starts with that, and then he says, okay, where do I go? I need to go to B or D, depending on which is higher. If that were 40 and this were 50, I would go to D. If this were 50 and that were 50 and 40 remaining, I would do C, D, A, B. Via arrows or without via arrows. I don't end with A, which is the pain point for me. Then I'll say, okay, maybe from C, he'll go to B first, make that 60. And then from B, he has to decide between A and D. Right? A is 50. If you want to end with A, next step has to be D. If the next step were D, D would be 50. A and D are both 50. If he's sitting at B and he has to choose between A and D, then this is 10 plus 2, 12, that is 6. He'll end up going to A first. I have a problem. I have a big problem. I will start with C. After that, if I happen to go to D, my next stop has to be B. I'm in trouble. After that, if I happen to go to B, my next stop has to be from C, if I go to D, my next stop has to be A, because if I've gone to D, that means this is only 40, next stop has to be A. C, D, A, B is a possible route. If I go from C to B, then C, B, A, D is a possible route. C, B, D, A is not possible. C, B, D, A is not possible. I have to start with C. My next one can be B or D. Either case, the one after that has to be A. It's either C, B, A, D or C, D, A, B. I simply cannot end this tour with Ahmed Nagar. Super peeved. When I saw this, when I did this elaborate solution to say that, hey, our men, our people, our folks who are dabbling in this got this question wrong. And so this question is wrong. There is no correct answer. There is no way you could have any scenario where you end with A. Not possible. If you're ending with A, then A is 50. A cannot be 70. If A is 70, then you could start with A. Right, so A being 70 is ruled out. A could have been 70 and C could have been 100, in which case it would have been CA. Therefore, I am ruling out 70. C at 100, A at 70. I'll go from C to A. So it will be a CA. I don't want to do that. I want to end with A. There is no way you can end with A. And the moment I know that, I'm super peeved because this question says the last location visited is Ahmed Nagar. So this question is an incorrect question. So another thing to keep in mind, there could be incorrect questions. If I got this set, I'm dead because I'm spending 4, 5, 6 minutes trying to figure this set out. Then I'm dumping this because I'm not getting the first question right. I want the courage to go to question number 2. And that's some of the things that we don't factor in. We say one question wrong, big deal. No, one question messes with my mind. Because 1 of 5, I spent 4 or 5 minutes digesting this. And then I jump in and try to solve. And then I get, this is a super contradiction sitting there. Even if I get to the right answer, that is wrong. And because they have given some other thing as the right answer, I can live with it. But I'm messed up. Right? Here I stop and say, something is wrong. I made a mistake. I keep trying again and again. I dump the whole set and go to the next one, which is why it's a big pain to get questions like this wrong. Such is life. I'm going to go to the next question. I'm not going to say why it could have been whatever 35. What I think they did was they did C, B, D, A or some such thing. 4 and then 10 plus 2. 12, 16, 26, 28 plus 8, 28 plus 7, 35. CBDA is what they did and came to 35, but hey, CBDA is wrong. So I'm not going to see why it could have been 35. Forget about that. The total number of widgets delivered in a day is 250 units. What is the total distance covered in the route? 250 is a total number. Let's see, we could add 50 or 70, 40 or 60, 70 or 100, 30 or 50. I love adding the higher numbers and lower numbers. Right? So 70 plus 50 is 120, 220, 280. The highest is 280. The lowest, 50 plus 40, 90, 160 plus 30, 190. Here at 250, so closer to this. So I'm going to think about maximum and then stepping down. Right? So instead of having 70 at A, 60 at B, 100 at C and 50 at D, I step down somewhere. From here it's 30 units down. Right? So instead of 70, if I have a 50, 70 or 50 is minus 20, 60 or 40 it's minus 20 100 or 70, it's minus 30. 50 or 30, it's minus 20. I need to do a minus 30. If I go from 100 to 70, it's a minus 30. Is there any other possibility? The other three are all minus 20. If I do two minus 20s, I go to a minus 40. If I do only one, I stay at a minus 20. The only way possible is to see where at 70, or my total should be 70, 60, 70, 50. 130, 200, 250. That's my combination. So the total number of widgets is 250. Then I'm delivering 70 here, 60 here, 70 here, and 50 here. So now my method becomes simpler. Where do I go? I go from W to A or C. Therefore, I go to A because A is closer. W to A is 5 kilometers. From A, I then go to C. I cannot do AC. I have to do AWC. From W, A, C. So I've delivered to A, I've delivered to C. I have 60 and 50 remaining. I have to go to B. From C, I go to B, which is nice. From B, I have to go to D. I have to go via W. B, W, D. My total distance traveled, WA is 5. And then another 5. So 5, 5, 12, 4, 10, 2. 10, 22, 26, 36, 38. WA, W, C, B, W, D. 5, 10, 22, 26, 36, 38. Once you find the numbers, then the addition part becomes simpler. What is the chance that the total number of widgets delivered in a day is 260 units and the route ends at Bikrampur? 260 is a friendly number because I already knew this. I added the totals, which is 70, 60, 50, 100, the maximum possible. 130, 180 is 280, and I have a 260. And so I'm doing a 260 units. That means I'm 20 short. That means my 20 shots could have come at A or D or B. And so I end at Bikrampur. So Bikrampur, both of these are less than 60. So if I'm ending at Bikrampur, if Bikrampur were at 60, then I'm in trouble. I won't end at Bikrampur, I'll end at D. That means Bikrampur should have been 40. Done. So I'm looking at this 60 number becoming 40 for my total to become 260. And so I'm doing 70, 40, 50, 100. And so this should be 100, 70% chance of that happening. This should be 70, 60% chance of this happening. This should be again 50, which is 60% chance of that happening. That should be 40, 30% chance of that happening. 70 into 60 into 60 into 30. 60 into 30 is 18%, 70 into 60 is 42%. 42% into 18%. 18 to 36, 6, 3, 18, 4, so 72, 72 plus 3, 75. Should be 7.56%. Just this. Lovely question. Just we need to find out the root because it's 260 is rather comfortable because I know the sum of all totals is 280. So I'm 20 short. So either A, B or D should be short. If A or D were short, then B would have to be at 60. If B is at 60, then I have to go to B before D. Bikrampur has to come before D. And I can't work with that. I need to end with Bikrampur. So Bikrampur has to be 40. That means the other two have to be higher. If the first location visited from the warehouse is Ahmednagar, nice, that means this 100 is ruled out. And this has to be 70. Done. What is the chance that the total distance covered in the route is 40 kilometers? That means I know one part of the route. My one part of the route is 5, 5, 12. I will be at C. From W, I start and do WA, AWC. This I am doing, covering A and C. This is done. So the first location is A, so I go to A, then I cover C. That much is clear. So 5 plus 5, 10 plus 12, 22. I'm 22 kilometers done and I'm right here. Only now my first decision comes. These two are already taken care of. I have to have had Ahmednagar at 70 and whatever my C is at 70. That is done. That's not part of the probability. Now I'm here at 22. I could either be forced to do a DB or a BD. And so a DB would be 4, 10 to 16 kilometers. A BD would be that. A DB would be 6 to 10, which is 18 kilometers. So I am definitely doing a DB. After coming here, I am doing a DB, not a BD. If I did a BD, it would be 4 plus 10, 14 plus 2, 16 kilometers, taking me to a total of 38. If I did a BD, it would be 6 plus 2 plus 10, which is 18 kilometers. 22 plus 18 is 30. So I am doing WAC DWB, or D should be higher than B. How is that possible? D cannot be 30 and B cannot be 60. It has to be 50 and 40. Nice, worked out rather well for us. So it is 50 and 40, 60% into 30%, 18%. That's our answer. Done. Beautiful question. Some element of probabilistic thinking layered on top of what you already have. The one part that we already have is we are covering A and C first. So WA, WC, warehouse to A to warehouse C. I'm standing there. Till here, my route is set. There's no probability and all that. From here, I need to have 18 more kilometers. If I do CBWD or CDWB, only one of these two is 18. What are the odds that will happen? That's it. That's all I need to compute. If Ahmednagar is not the first location to be visited in a route, and the total route distance is 29 kilometers. If Ahmednagar is not the first, then that means we are starting with C. That much I know. So that means C is, then which of the following is a possible number of widgets delivered on that day? We're starting with C, just 12 is done. Right, that 12 is done. And I have 17 more kilometers to do. Right, from C, I could do a BAD, 4 plus 6, 10 plus 17, 19. So from C, I could end up doing a BAWD. This will be 17 kilometers. That's a possibility. Right? From C, I will not go to D because this 30 and 50. I could end up going to D because this could be 50, that could be 50, that could be 40. Yeah, that's possible. But let's calculate the distance. If I go to D, my next step should be A and then B. 6 plus 8, 14 plus 6, 20. That's not working. Right? From C, I could be forced to go to B, A, W, D. That's a possibility. From C, I could go to A directly. Next step. From C, WA, 12 plus 5 is 17, I'm already dead. So my next stop is not A. That I know because I'm traveling only 29 kilometers. W to C is set. The next step where A, I'm done, I'm in trouble. The next step is not A. That means A is not 70, A is only 50. That much I know. A has only 50 in it. Right? From C, I could be forced to go to between D and B, next step. If this were 50, D could be 50, B could be 60. If I went to 60 here, then I would go to 50 here before coming here. C, D, A, W, D. C, B, A, W, D. That's a possibility. One beautiful possibility. Or I could start with C, be forced to go to D because this is 50 and that is 30. This is 6 plus 8 plus 6, that becomes 20. That's not the case. So my possibility is this. I am going in the route C, B, A, W, D. C, B, A, W, D. So after C, I go to B. A is 50. This could also be 50. I'm going to B. That means B should be 60. And then I finally end up at D. D could be 30 or 50. And so what do I know for sure of A, B, C, D? I know A has 50 for sure. B has 60 for sure. C could be 70 or 100. D could be 30 or 50. Which of the following is a possible number of widgets delivered on that day? Let me find the minimum, let me find the maximum, then we'll figure out. 50, 60, 70, 30. 30 plus 70 is 100. 150, 210. Minimum is 210. Maximum 50, 60, 110, 210, 210 plus 50, 260. Plus 30 plus 20. 210 is available, then that's the answer. It cannot go below 210, is out. We cannot go to 250, not possible. 220, not possible. Maybe swapping 30 with 50 could take us to a 230. 70 with 100 could take us to a 240. But these three are not possible. This is possible. Done. Brilliant.